Yeah, yeah, I was there, especially for the third. If it went from zero to negative, like on the third, I was like, it's been the most tiredness I've ever felt. I've like in in a fight. So that's why I'm proud of myself because I was able to dig deep. Even like the next day, I woke up and it took me the whole day. Like I was still out of breath. Like if I had just got done like from a fucking like 10-mile run. I think from how I pushed my body that fight that night, I pushed this like so much that it took me like another whole day to still get my air back. Like I was still like out of breath.
Coming off a big win at UFC Mexico, it is always my great pleasure to speak to my next guest. He is one of the top young bantamweights in the sport, Raul Rosas Jr. Raul, welcome back and congratulations on a huge win.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So, obviously, I know you mentioned in your post fight the last time you were going to fight in Mexico. We know what happened. You got sick. You weren't able to fight. I knew you wanted to fight, but you weren't able to fight. How good did it feel to go back and get that win in front of the home crowd?
I felt good being able to accomplish one of my own dreams, being able to perform in Mexico City. Uh, I always had that dream. It didn't even matter if it was in the UFC or not. Like I'm saying before I got to the UFC, I always wanted to fight Mexico City. And when I got to the UFC, obviously it became hard because, it's not like I can just go out and look for a show. So when the UFC finally, after a couple of years, returned to Mexico City, I was excited and happy, and obviously I got on it, but wasn't able to fight. And now that I was able to get back on it and be able to show the people that just my well accomplish a dream for myself, and also show the people that last time it was actually that I got sick that it made me not be able to go out and perform because I felt like a lot of questions were still unanswered for the people. Like I answered that I was just scared of Ricky Turcios. I answered that a couple questions, but maybe they thought it was the pressure because obviously it's Mexico City. I have a lot of Mexican fans, but I think now I checked all the boxes.
Absolutely. Can I ask, like, when you're getting ready for the fight, you just got to focus on the fight. But now that it's all said and done, like, what was it like walking out, hearing the crowd going crazy? I mean, you know it's going to be different atmosphere than probably anywhere else you might fight. What was that like? Like now the moment's over. Like, how did it feel just walking on that arena and having those crowd? Like that crowd went nuts when you walked out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm letting that sink in right now. How crazy the experience was. Honestly, it's the biggest arena I've ever fought in, I believe, and the fullest arena I fought in. Like, for example, because I fought late in the card, and at that time, it's packed already. So there was a lot of people in that fight. That it was just a crazy experience. How everybody was screaming my name and cheering me on, and it's the first time that I hear everything like close, like if somebody like if they were just right here, like right next to me. I could hear so clearly, like because everybody would say the same thing, that I could hear them so clearly that even at some point during the first round, I believe that it made me look up to the crowd, like just with my eyes and look around, and I wasn't even looking at my opponent that she almost landed a jab, and then it made me like come back to the fight, but because if I hear somebody talking to me specifically, it's hard for me to not to look at them, So when I heard the crowd, it was hard for me not to look.
Yeah. So when you go back the next time, you kind of know what that experience is like because, like you said, you've never done it before, and obviously you've been a fan favorite. You were at the Sphere card, and obviously I know that was also really cool. But this is different, right? Like this is Mexico City, so it is a unique experience, and now you've gone through it. So now I'm sure when you go back, it'll be even bigger and better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially like you already know how the Mexican fans are. They're all crazy, like go crazy. So it's obviously at every city, every country I fight in. Obviously, the crowd is a different vibe, and this one is the craziest I've been to. And I'm glad I was able to be a part of it and make that a part of my journey. And it just gets me more excited. Imagine, because I just imagine and envision myself um, fighting for the belt, doing being the main event of the pay-per-views one day, you know. So imagine like either I'm fighting for the belt or defending my belt in Mexico City a couple years from now. I think it's gonna be a crazy experience.
Absolutely. Now I remember we talked after your last win, and you had told me at the time, you said, you know, it was more about fighting on the Sphere card, on the Noche UFC card. The opponent didn't matter as much. And you told me like at that point you wanted a top 15 opponent. Was it almost the same situation here where I tons of respect for Vince Morales, but was it more just like you wanted to fight in Mexico City and the opponent, you're just like, give me somebody? Because I know you really did want a top 15 opponent, but just to get on the Mexico City card, can I imagine that it just didn't matter who it was?
Yeah. So after my spear fight, I started training like fully in camp on September. After my birthday, October 8th. So like the second week of October is when I started training. Like like October 20 around there. I remember I started training like full like back three sessions a day, like diet, everything, because I wanted to fight one more time that year. But then the card got full. So then I said, okay, maybe January. The card got full, but I stayed training like if I was fighting January 18th, like January 18th, I was in shape to fight. I was everything. But nobody dropped from because there was like 4 or 5 fights in bantamweight. So I saw a big possibility of somebody getting injured. Nobody got injured. So then I said, okay. I jumped into another camp right away because my brother was fighting. So I was his main training partner. So I was running the mountain with him. I was doing everything, and then Mexico City, like no card came about before Mexico City, and then at that point I was like, okay, like can I get a fight? Like I'm really trying to fight already. I'm ready, and Mexico City, a lot of people didn't want to go because of the altitude. So at that point, I said, just give me anybody. I said yes to a couple names, and they weren't able to make the trip. So Vince Morales was the one who was able to make the trip. So also I'm thankful with Vince Morales for stepping up.
Absolutely. And I know Vince is a veteran. He's been around, super tough guy. Can I ask, because I know as fighters, you're always your own worst critic. So you tell me, like, how do you feel the fight played out?
Perfect. I mean, not perfectly, but perfect in a way. Like I was able to get all this experience under my belt, fighting at altitude, learning how to manage myself when I was so tired and still being keeping myself in the fight. Um, but obviously, I always want to finish, and this just helps me a lot because now so I before I would finish everybody, right, and then at some point I said, okay, now I have to learn how to manage whenever I'm not able to finish people, manage like 3 rounds, you know, how to go 3 rounds, how to win a fight, you know, not just finish a fight. And now if I'm able to for my next fight, now I know I have to put it together to know when to kind of win the fight and when to go for the kill. But Bez Morales did really good. Uh, to be honest, if I took this back, it was gonna be done. Because my timing on the choke was just so good this time. But he did a really good job not letting me get the back. Like he didn't let me get the hook. So I feel like he fought it really hard. Like his career depended on that hook. So he never get that hook. Because to be honest, if I would have got that hurt, the fight would have been over. But he never. He fought it so hard that usually people like I thought maybe in the second or third round, like she was just gonna give it up, but he never gave it up. So props to him. And now it's gonna make me a hell of a fighter because it put a fire inside of me, like you know, to learn and grow from this, so that now I'm gonna go out there and fix this mistake, so that next person that tries to fight the hook like that, I'm gonna be able to still get the back.
Absolutely. Can I ask you about the third round? Because he did come in, he did grab onto the Darce choke, and you got out of it. You reversed it really well, but in the moment we're watching it and you're like, oh man, is it tight, is it deep? Can you walk me through, like, was it ever really tight, was it ever really deep? Because you kept rolling, kept getting out of it, but we're watching on camera and it seems dramatic to us, but how was it for you actually in the moment?
No, to be honest, I wasn't gonna tap regardless of like in any choke. I could have been there for like 5 full minutes, no problem. Um, with me, if you're able to get a choke on me, that means your choke is perfect because in the gym, everywhere, like I even let people grab a hold on my back and get a full choke, like a full choke, and I'm able to like just be there forever, and their arms get gassed out. Especially for this camp, I knew Vince is really good at the darts, and I felt it in training before because I've trained with him like a year and a half ago, and I never tap. So this camp, I had like my brother and other people that I didn't know, like start with the deep, deep, like really, really deep darts, and I would say, "Okay, go," and then they would try to choke me, and I would escape. So I felt really comfortable. And his choke, I'll give it like the deepest, the one that went the deepest was the last one, but it was 55% out of 100% like deep. So it was like like a little bit uncomfortable, but not enough to like pass me out or choke me out.
So never close that you were even contemplating tapping, or never close enough that you were like actually like in real serious danger.
Yeah, no, no. And I mean, I thought he would know because he's got it in training before. Like, I've let him get like a deep dart on me in training before. Like when I trained with him a year and a half ago, and he squeezed the hardest in that training session. Like I remember, he squeezed so hard, like for like a minute, and he wasn't able to tap me, and she eventually let go in the training session. So I thought going into the fight, he would know that no matter how deep it got, like he wasn't gonna tap me. But I think now that I think about it, well, why not give it a try? So obviously he gave it a try, but like I even let guys in 10 planet grab a deep triangle, like stuff like that, and they're not really able to choke me. It's hard, like it's a few that can actually finish a choke.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, you did go 3 hard rounds and you did it at altitude. And you mentioned a lot of people don't want to fight in Mexico City because of the altitude. You looked fresh, you looked ready to go, and obviously after you reversed out the choke, you finished the fight strong. So how did you feel in that moment, like actually going through it? Because again, you can sleep in altitude, you can work around, but being in a fight at altitude is different. It seemed like you did pretty well.
No, yeah, that's why I'm happy for myself because I saw the fight and I was able to dissimulate it really good and stay in the fight. But after I, when I picked him up and I slammed him, I was already tired. Like, and when the first round ended, I was dead. Like zero in me. Like
Wow.
my arms were dead. That's why I didn't strike no more. My arms were dead. Like they didn't respond no more. So um, I just went in the corner and I sat there and like I'm always chilling. And this time when I went to the corner, the first thing I do, I tell him like water, give me water, because my mouth was so dry. And and then I stand up because the round two is about to start, and I looked at him and he's like jumping like this, off fresh. And I was like, fuck, because I was dead. I was like, fuck. And then I got a flashback from the Christian Rodriguez fight. And I was like, no. I was like, I can't let this happen again. I can't lose. I was like, I can't lose again. So I was like, no matter what, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I win tonight. Today I'm going to win. I was like, I don't care. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I was like, I'm going to fucking push through. And today I'm going to win. So I just, after that, I was kind of blacked out, but I just kept on fighting and I was able to just win the fight.
What do they say? Fake it till you make it, because you fooled us. I didn't think you. I thought you were good. I thought you had all the energy. So that good job, because I didn't notice.
Yeah, yeah, I was there, especially for the third. If it went from zero to negative, like on the third, I was like, it's been the most tiredness I've ever felt. I like in in a fight. So that's why I'm proud of myself because I was able to dig deep. Even like the next day, I woke up and it took me the whole day. Like I was still out of breath. Like if I had just got done like from a fucking like 10-mile run. I think from how I pushed my body that fight that night, I pushed this like so much that it took me like another whole day to still get my air back. Like I was still like out of breath.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So now, can I ask? Like you mentioned, like it was an awesome experience. The home crowd was there, but would you want to fight Mexico City again because of that? Because as you said, like there's guys who just don't want to do it, and I don't fault them. Like it is a huge difference altitude wise to go there versus like even training in Vegas or training even in like Denver. Like it's still like way higher. So would you want to do Mexico City again, or are you kind of like maybe one time was enough?
um, I mean, I'm always up for the challenge. Honestly, if the fight makes sense, like if it was a big fight, a big opportunity, yeah. The only reason, like, why I doubt sometimes I'm going to fight Mexico City is not because of the altitude, but it's because like a lot of my team can't make it, training partners, coaches. So it's like a smaller camp. For example, like just 3 people with me, and that's if they can make it the trip, So that makes it hard. But as far as the altitude and everything, to be honest, I would like to do it again. And now that I have that experience under my belt, I think it'll be easier. And this was a short notice fight. Like I was training already, but I'm saying short notice fight. I didn't know if I was going to fight in Mexico City or not. So I was only there for 21 days, and I don't think that was enough for me to acclimate correctly, but it was enough for me to acclimate, to be able to get through the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you get the job done, you get the win. Now, we said it was kind of like the perfect storm because you go from September, you really wanted to fight at the Sphere, and you did it. And then, again, opponent didn't matter. You just wanted to fight on that Sphere card. You did it. Now, same kind of thing here. The opponent didn't really matter. Now, they just announced UFC 320, Noche UFC down in Guadalajara. So you tell me, Raul, like coming out of this one, is the mindset, I need that ranked opponent, I need to be in the top 15, or is it once again like, because let's be honest, you would be a big star for them to put down. Like I think you and Brandon Moreno, like you two, being on that Guadalajara card would be massive. So where's your head at coming out of that?
Honestly, yeah, my mindset is like a top 15 opponent. Like I'm hungry for it. Um, obviously, I'm not coming up like my best performance, but I am on a 4 or 5 win streak, and like you know, there's people that say I'm ready. There's people that say I'm not ready for a top 15. But in my opinion, I think there's only one way to find out. So why not top 15 opponent next? Like a lot of people said, I wasn't ready for the UFC, and now I'm 5-1 in the UFC. So, I just want to keep on proving everybody wrong and proving myself right. So I think I'm ready to test myself. But either way, if my opponent's not a top 15 opponent next, I would like to fight International Fight Week, whoever, and after that, maybe for sure on Guadalajara, I can for sure 100% get a top 15 opponent.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like I said. There's a lot of time now. We're just now in April. I mean, obviously that card is at the end of June, and the other one's in September. So if you stay active, that's 3 fights. I mean, there is a world where you could do all 3, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, to be honest, I just wanted to make it out this fight with no injuries. Like out of this fight with no injuries, my hand's a little messed up, but not much. To like probably like in a week, I'll be 100% again. So nothing deep, and that means I can try to stay active.
Yeah. Now, can I imagine you say top 15, and I know we all love to hear a name, right? Like we want you to call a name, but can I imagine, and just from the little bit we've talked in the past and now, it just seems like you're just like top 15, and maybe the name doesn't matter as much as the ranking. Is that fair to say? Like you don't want to necessarily single out one guy because they say, well, we got this guy instead. Like, is it just give me a top 15 opponent, doesn't matter who?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's my mindset. Like because my mindset always been like, if I lose to whoever, that means I'm not ready for to be a champion. Because obviously my ultimate goal is to be a champion, and that's why I'm doing this. So if they said, okay, fight this guy, and I'm not able to beat him, then that means I'm not champion material just yet. So I believe I'm champion material. So I just want to step up with whoever and just prove myself right.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I mean, International Fight Week, I know you train a lot in Vegas. I mean, that is a massive, massive card every year. We haven't heard for sure who's going to be headlining it, but that is a massive event as well. And again, there's still the opportunity to fight in Guadalajara. I mean, let's be honest, that's going to be a huge card. And I think I'm just saying from my own perspective, Raul, I think the UFC is probably going to want you and Brandon on that card, especially after what we saw this past Saturday. I mean, the crowd was insane. And now they're actually doing Noche UFC in Mexico. I mean, come on, how could they not want you and him both on that card?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that kind of like guarantees me a spot. So in a way, it favors my way that it's in Mexico because it like kind of like okay, like I for sure probably have a spot on that card. So I try to make some space on other cards like International Fight Week, and if I can get through I can get International Fight Week. That's just like a extra fight of for the year. So that just means I'll get to fight like 3-4 times this year.
Yeah. Now you're still young, so you can bounce back quicker. I know you said you have a little bit of a hand thing, but how long do you feel like you're gonna probably try to get back into training pretty quickly? Because it seemed like you were staying ready after September, and then of course everything worked out where you wanted to fight earlier, but you ended up fighting in March. Do you want to get back in the gym? Because I mean, June is still. I mean, basically we're 3 months away right now because that card's at the very end of June. So basically we're 3 months away right now.
I'm gonna get back in the gym tomorrow. Because I just had, like I told you, I just have a fire inside of me. Like it's almost like the same fire I had when I lost. Obviously, I know I didn't lose the fight, but I'm not satisfied like with not being able to get the finish because I'm used to getting the finish. So and Vince Morales presented some new things that nobody had done. Like for example, the way he fought that hook was like he fought it for his life. Um, so I'm just hungry to be able to fix that because even right now, like thinking about it, like the whole trip from Mexico back, I was thinking about it. What could have I done to take that back? And I don't have the answer to it. So I'm really hungry to go back to the gym and I get with my coaches because they weren't able to go to Mexico City. So I'm excited to go back to the gym, ask them, and just get a solve that problem.
Yeah, get back in the lab and figure out how you would have defeated that hook next time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm excited to evolve. This is what I love about the journey. I just keep getting better and better.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I think a top 15 opponent makes a lot of sense, but the great thing is you're so young, you got so much time, you got a long career ahead of you, but obviously it seems like you got a lot of focus, and it seems like you're ready for that. But whatever comes next, obviously people are going to watch, and you become one of the most exciting and most watched prospects, probably, I mean, if I'm being honest, one of the most watched prospects in the history of the sport. And I always say, man, to do all this at 20 and handle it the way you've handled it is pretty amazing, because I know what I was like at 20 and I sure couldn't handle it. So you're doing pretty amazing, man.
Thank you so much.
Well, Raul, congratulations again on the win. Like I said, man, the atmosphere down in Mexico is insane, and hopefully, like I said, International Fight Week works out in June. Get another big fight, and maybe if the top 15 opponent doesn't come for that one, maybe it works out perfectly. You get the top 15 opponent in Guadalajara because that card's going to be insane as well. So hopefully, that would be like the perfect year, right? Like you get 3 fights, 2 in Mexico, top 15 opponent. It's like the perfect way for it all work out.
Yeah, it's the perfect way. More importantly, my goal this year doesn't matter if I have to fight in December after like Guadalajara. Like, just my goal this year is to get ranked. That puts me in a good position to accomplish my dream. Obviously, so this year, no matter what, I gotta fight for that ranking spot.
You may have mentioned this a while back, and so I may be bringing this up, kind of old news, but is the goal, like, would the ultimate goal be to, become the UFC, like a realistic, the youngest champion in UFC history? I mean, you're still 3 years away from getting where John Jones was at 23, so you still got a lot of time to work for that.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's always gonna remain the goal. That's the ultimate goal. why not? I'm in a good position. I got the age, I got the time. So why not shoot for it? I think I'm doing so good. I think I'm on the right path. So obviously, since I came into the UFC even before, that's been the goal. So that remains the goal, and that's why I think getting ranked this year puts me in a good position because after getting ranked, I'm a couple fights away from getting that title shot.